There's an old saying in Tennessee, I know it's in Texas, probably in Tennessee, that says, "Fool me once, shame on you." If fool me, we can't get fooled again.
The realm. Do you know what the realm is? It's the 1,000 blades of Aegon's enemies. A story we agree to tell each other over and over till we forget that it's a lie.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back for another Game of Thrones Season 8 prediction video. Today I want to talk about Cersei Lannister and whether or not she is actually pregnant. The 7th season of Game of Thrones is over, and Cersei definitely appears to be on her way of becoming the Mad Queen now that Jaime has abandoned her. As the Queen of the Seven Kingdoms, Cersei has pretty much only had one thing on her mind, which is destroying all of her enemies. But lately Cersei has had something else on her mind, because she is claiming to be pregnant. Game of Thrones Season 7 was full of revelations, but I think this one really caught people off guard for the simple fact that we were led to believe Cersei could no longer have any children. The main reason why this was so surprising was because of the prophecy Cersei was told by the Woods Witch known as Maggy the Frog. In a flashback sequence in the Season 5 premiere, we saw a young Cersei Lannister having her future told to her by Maggy the Frog.
Will the king and I have children?
No. The king will have 20 children. And you will have 3.
That doesn't make sense.
Gold will be their crowns. Gold. Their shrouds.
So far, Maggy has been 100% correct. King Robert Baratheon did have multiple illegitimate children without the help of Cersei, while Cersei only had 3, Joffrey, Myrcella, and Tommen, all 3 of whom have died. Joffrey and Myrcella were both poisoned. Then Tommen commits suicide by throwing himself out of a window after he sees that Cersei has murdered his wife, Margaery Tyrell. Now that Cersei is pregnant, a 4th child would contradict the prophecy, which has a lot of people believing that she will either die before her child is born, miscarry, or that she's not even pregnant at all. Since Maggy the Frog has been correct so far, this leads me to believe that Cersei is either lying or something will happen to her or her baby before she has the chance to give birth. I think both of these possibilities are likely. We all know Cersei has never had a problem with lying if she knows it will benefit her in some way. And the chances of Cersei living long enough to have this child seem pretty slim, considering almost all of the other main characters want her dead. But first you have to ask yourself, why would Cersei lie about something like this? Does she have a good enough reason to do this? Well, it would be a great way to ensure her safety to a certain extent. Even though Tyrion Lannister is Daenerys Targaryen's hand to the queen, Cersei knows Tyrion has always loved her children. And by saying she's pregnant, she could see this as a way to buy herself some more time. Cersei knew that she had to wait for Euron to return with the Golden Company, so by hinting at her pregnancy with Tyrion, she would know he would try to prevent something from happening to Cersei at this time, at least until she had the baby. And by then, Euron would be back with the reinforcements. Also, when Cersei and Tyrion were talking privately, Cersei lowers her hand to cover her belly, and according to the producers, that move was deliberate.
I don't care about checking my worst impulses. I don't care about making the world a better place. Hang the world.
It's a little bit of a poker game they're playing there because it seems like she's bluffing and he reads her bluff, but she wanted him to read her bluff. This was all part of her game.
You're pregnant.
Cersei's become quite good at playing this game. She wasn't in power, but she was on the edges of power, and she learned how to operate in that environment. And she plays Tyrion pretty beautifully here.
Cersei wanted Tyrion to know that she was pregnant because she wanted a reason to appear to have changed her mind about supporting Dany and Jon's mission. That way they would not see the betrayal coming later. But if Cersei is willing to use the idea that she's pregnant to manipulate Tyrion, is it then crazy to say she might be faking the entire thing? Especially since Cersei claims that Jaime is the dumbest Lannister. She did say he would fall for anything. So does that include a fake pregnancy by his sister lover? You also have to keep in mind, when Cersei was talking to Tyrion, she did say as soon as she laid eyes on the White, all she could think about was protecting the ones that she loved. She said she did not care about being a good ruler, or restoring the realm or anything like that. All she cared about was their child, because she did have her hand on her belly as she was saying this. But when that White came charging at Cersei, she doesn't try to protect her baby, The only time she puts her hand over her stomach is when she is in front of Tyrion or Jaime, which is always behind closed doors. Now, the reason why she might have lied to Jaime about this is because Cersei needed Jaime. He was the commander of her armies, and he was always extremely loyal to Cersei. She knew that if Jaime left, then it would not be long before others might follow him and abandon Cersei as well. By telling Jaime she is pregnant, she could have assumed he would stay with her until the very end. Also, Cersei could have been setting up this lie very early just in case she would lose the war and end up getting captured. Do you think Jon or Daenerys would be the type of person to execute a pregnant woman? Probably not. It also seemed like it might have been perfect timing for Cersei to manipulate Jaime into sticking by her side, considering she broke the news to him right after Daenerys torched his army and nearly killed him. Jaime did tell Cersei they had no way to stop Daenerys' dragons, so Cersei might have started to feel like Jaime was ready to wave the white flag. So she gave him a new reason to fight. Knowing you have a baby on the way would certainly be enough motivation to keep fighting for survival. These are just some of the reasons why she might be lying, but it doesn't mean I'm actually saying this is what happened, but it is possible. Now, on the other hand, she could actually be pregnant. Cersei and Jaime did recently have sex with each other shortly before she revealed that she was pregnant. Jaime has gotten her pregnant 3 times before, so it's certainly not out of the realm of possibility that he could do this again. Also, we did see Cersei and Qyburn talking privately. Just as Jaime walks into the room to talk with Cersei, Qyburn exits, right after he told Cersei he can give her some sort of medicine.
I could give you something.
That won't be necessary.
I'm not exactly sure what kind of medicine he was referring to, but it could have something to do with morning sickness, or maybe even something to get rid of the baby. Whatever it was, Cersei declined his offer. But then again, Cersei and Qyburn could have set this up to fool Jaime, and us as the viewers. Qyburn is Cersei's little servant, so I won't rule this out as being a staged meeting either. We also have to keep something else in mind. The older Cersei gets, the less likely she is able to get pregnant. Now, I know there are women her age that have kids all the time, but it does get harder the older you get. Even Lady Olenna had concerns about how fertile Cersei may be.
Now, if the rumors about my children were true, then Joffrey is no king at all, and House Tyrell is throwing its prize flower into the dirt.
And if Cersei is too old to give Laura's children, we're throwing another prize flower into the dirt. It is a chance we simply cannot take.
At the end of the day, it might not matter whether Cersei is lying or not, because she probably won't survive long enough to see the child be born anyway. Her brother Jaime has already abandoned her, and there's no telling how many men Jaime might be able to get to rally behind him before he makes it all the way north. Now that Cersei has admitted to Jaime she lied about helping Jon and Daenerys in this new War for the Dawn, it's probably only a matter of time before Jaime reveals this information to Tyrion, Brienne, or Jon and Dany themselves. As soon as they find out Cersei left them hanging in their most desperate time of need, they're gonna have no other reason to want to make any further negotiations with her. Cersei has now proven she will lie right to their faces, so they have to assume she will do that again. Then when you combine this with Dany and Bran's visions of the throne room, it doesn't look like the current queen will continue to rule much longer. If Cersei doesn't die by Dany's dragonfire, then someone will most likely wrap their hands around Cersei's pale white throat and choke the life from her. There are more than enough reasons why Cersei should die next season. Sansa wants her dead, Arya wants her dead, and many other people. I would be shocked if she made it out of the series alive. However, in my opinion, I do believe Cersei is pregnant. She does have reasons to lie about it, but I don't think that she is. But like I said, at the end of the day, I believe Maggy the Frog's prophecy will remain true. One way or another, Cersei will not have this baby.
I knew this would happen. The witch told me years ago. She promised me 3 children. She promised me they'd die. And gold their shrouds. Everything she said came true. You couldn't have stopped it. It's prophecy. It's fate.
You don't believe that?
Of course I do. You told me yourself when Father died.
Cersei was actually supposed to miscarry during Season 7 already. The entire plot was leaked last season, and the leak ended up being 99.9% accurate. The only thing from the leak that did not happen was Cersei's miscarriage at the end of the Season 7 finale. In Cersei's last scene, they were going to have her wake up in a bed of blood, but for whatever reason, they cut that scene out of the finale. I personally believe they are saving it to kick off Season 8. That way Cersei spirals even further out of control over the course of the entire final season. but we shall see how they do this now. I know some of you may be thinking, how is Maggy the Frog's prophecy true if Cersei really had another child with Robert? Back in Season 1, Cersei references this child, and many people believe it might be Gendry. In my opinion, the show invented those scenes to make Cersei look a little bit more sympathetic in those moments. Cersei does get pregnant by Robert in the books, but she immediately has an abortion by drinking moon tea. She admits this during a conversation with Ned Stark. As we all know, Cersei hated Robert, and she would have done anything in her power to prevent herself from having his child, because she did grow to despise him. I don't believe Gendry is Cersei's son, but if you do, then that is fine by me. I tend to believe Maggy's prophecy. Cersei will only give birth to 3 children, which means if Cersei is really pregnant now, then something will happen before that baby ever sees the light of day. Let me know what you think about Cersei's pregnancy. Do you believe her, or is she making this up? And also, let me know what you think will happen to the baby if you do think she's pregnant. Anyways, thank you all very much for watching the video. I appreciate that as always. And I also want to give a big shout out to everyone on Patreon. You've helped support the channel for another month, and I cannot thank you all enough. I hope everyone has a great day. I will see you again soon. Bye.